Talks is a regular online series designed to inspire and engage communities by connecting governments, industry, and academia and startups in meaningful conversations that shape the future of innovation, covering both business strategies and technical breakthroughs. The series will explore how emerging technologies like from AI and biotechnology to quantum computing and any advanced material are transforming industries, economies, and societies worldwide. This session, these sessions are held every Thursday at 6 p.m. UAE time, bringing together experts to discuss the technologies shaping our future. For today's session, we're excited to host a fireside chat on the theme AI in Education, the Rise of Conscientious Leaders for the Future of Tech. Joining us are two incredible speakers. We have Christophe Zoghbi, who is a founder and CEO of ZAKA, and Grace Tang, a Gen AI-powered entrepreneur who will also be moderating today's discussion. So together we will explore how artificial intelligence in education can not only equip learners with technical skills, but also nature leaders who are ethical, responsible, and prepared for the challenges of the future. Now I'm delighted to hand it over to Grace to kick off the conversation with Krista.
Thank you, Sarah, and I would like to thank Sondos, Samran, and Hossein for inviting Chris and me for this talk. The fun thing is, yesterday I had a very quick catch up with Christophe. I asked him, "How do you want me to introduce you?" He said, "Open, anything." So I think that is the best things for any creator, a blank paper. So I'm going to ask you questions like I'm peeling the onion. Christophe, as everyone knows, is the founder and CEO of ZAKA. And over overarching 10 years time, you were a scope member and a scope leader. How did your understanding about human and nature evolve after graduating from a general science bachelor's degree to finishing your software engineer master degrees? To you, the stage.
Thank you, Grace, and thank you again for the Deep Tech MEA team for inviting me to be here today. I'm very happy to be part in this, and hopefully it's going to be useful to everyone who's attending. Back to your question, Grace. Yeah, so during my university years, I was also heavily involved in Scouts. Before university, I was a Scout member, and then I became a Scout leader. And this really shaped a lot of my personality and a lot of my leadership skills, to say that. So before we go into the leadership skills, I think um, Scouts teaches you a lot of things, but it's mainly teaches you about responsibility, because from a young age you're given a form of responsibility. It starts with a small something where you're responsible for yourself, and then you are responsible for a small group of people, and then that grows and grows. And there's this hierarchy in Scouts that really allows you to gradually gain more responsibility and learn to work with that responsibility. So it has really impacted me a lot in terms of how I look at organizing things, at organizational skills, leadership skills, but also, as you said, science, nature, survival skills as well. So there's a lot of elements to be taught there, and it's been a while. I haven't really thought about my Scout years, but it's been really, those were the best years of my life, in a sense where I was really focusing on growing as a person and helping others as well, because I was responsible uh, for Scout boys that were aged between 11, 12-year-old to 16, 17-year-olds. And this is where really boys are, building their characters, building their personality, right? They're kind of growing from becoming a child to actually becoming almost an adult. So it's a very essential part of growing up. And for you to be in charge of people, to be some form of a guide or a mentor to some, like without even wanting it, right? They come to you for advice. They come to you with questions. So it was really interesting for me to kind of have that experience. And yeah, I was fully focused on building and being a fully committed Scout member up until I realized that I need to kind of focus more on my career because I wasn't really
Mm,
attending university. My whole focus was, I was fully engaged in being a scout and organizing activities and doing things like that, which was eventually
mm.
affecting my studies. So at some point, I decided to,
Oh,
this is amazing, but I want to dive more into what I like, and kind of I slowly ended my scout move or scout career and then focused on my actual career, which I guess we'll get into it in future questions.
mm. I still remember vividly. I still remember there were some Scouts member when I was in secondary school, but I never gotten the courage to join them together. But I think when I get older, I realize the importance of really connecting to the nature and really deep down to how we survive in the nature as a human. You've mentioned you spend more time or focusing on your career. Over the past decade, your tech journey is like going on a tech tour like Taylor Swift. From being a software developer, developing intelligent robots, customizing enterprises chatbot, enforcing AI security, or tapping into computer vision. How did these diverse experiences in tech build your career in tech?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So, after I graduated from university as a software engineer, I was working as a mobile app developer because kind of back then it was the early rise of mobile phones, smartphones. Android was a very new thing back then. So, and I always liked to tinker with tools and software. So I remember I had one of the early Windows mobile phones, which was called HTC
Mm,
HD2, and then I had rigged it to kind of run Android very early versions like Android Cupcake, right? It was something that maybe very few people have actually used. So I've always been fascinated with softwares and mobile phones were the hit back then. So I started working as a mobile app developer, but then I quickly realized that after a couple of years, it's always the same thing. Like I was working at a company where we had developed apps for different companies, but it's always the same app, just different colors, different, look and feel, but it's the same thing. I'm not learning anything new. So this has really pushed me
mm,
to quit my job and kind of figure out what I want to do with my life and work on projects that I want to work on. And for the next 3 years after that, it really shaped a lot of what I know currently about everything because I had the freedom to kind of explore any field I wanted because as you know, software development is a big field. It's not like it's a small
Yeah.
concern. Like you can work in mobile and back end and front end. You can work in AI, machine learning, whatever. There's a lot of things you can do, and there's a lot of frameworks to learn. There's a lot of things you have to go into. But unfortunately, sometimes you are stuck in a job where you're forced to do one thing, so it doesn't really help you learn. So I was fortunate enough to be able to spend a couple of years where I'm just focusing on learning what I want to learn and following kind of my passion. And this is the phase where I discovered, or actually I got, like, I went over multiple things. I went into this, into that. I tried a lot of things until I discovered machine learning, which is AI, right? But the idea of uh, getting data and training models to actually predict something and having some value with data and building software that is smarter than typical softwares. So this experience really shaped me a lot. It was very chaotic looking back at it because I had no clue what I was doing. I was just, wasting my time on random things, but it really helped me find the one thing that I'm really passionate about, which is, AI. And from there onwards, I think
mm.
I focused a lot of my effort on the AI journey. And it's been a very rewarding and exciting journey for sure.
Yeah, when you mentioned about AI, everyone think about okay, the Middle East when we connected these two words together. Since we are on the theme of deep tech geek talk, I'm so curious to know your view on the MENA region. What are the opportunities or any um, um, what's your thought on the ecosystem and opportunities in the region or MENA in general?
Yeah. So first of all, yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunities in the region here. If you look at, I mean, I've been really focused on AI, so I'm gonna speak from a lens of the AI community and the AI space. But of course, I think it can also apply a bit more on the general technology space and deep tech. But if you look at the current status of where we are in the region, it's obvious that we are a bit lagging behind, 3 to 4 years maybe lagging behind uh, other parts of the world. But at the same time, I see this really growing faster than anywhere else in the world. Like if you look at the investments, at the energy that is being spent, really, uh, from UAE to Saudi to Qatar to all of the region here, they have all national strategies to really uh, become leaders in technology, to implement their own, data centers, their own large language models, their own AI startups. They're investing a lot. Um, and startups and in this ecosystem. And I can feel it because I currently live in Canada. So I moved from the region to Canada almost a year ago. And looking at the state here, like you would assume that Canada is one of the countries that is, more advanced and are technologically they're doing more things. But if I look at the state of the economy here and then the projects, you feel like it's not vibing as much as in the region, right? So there's obviously this need to actually catch up and then move forward that we find in the region that is not found anywhere else. So this is very promising. Um, and yeah, I think like the region has a lot of we have a lot of talent, we have a lot of opportunities, and when people see problems, I see opportunities, right? Because when you look at a place where we still have a lot to do to catch up, it also means that, anywhere you look, you have a problem to solve, right? And we shouldn't really expect, someone who's sitting in Silicon Valley, for example, to solve a problem for us. We should actually solve our own problems. And this is really the focus of what I'm trying to do. We don't need to be just users of technology. We want to be creators of technology, and we want to create solutions for our own problems. Um, so that's in general what I would describe, the state of the current ecosystem in the region.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned about a lot of tech leaders who are solving problems. It's very interesting to understand your career path because your tech career is intertwined so closely with community building. What motivates you to connect the deep tech world with the not so deep tech community?
So this goes back to my story that I was kind of sharing before, which is, after I graduated and I worked for a couple of years, as I said, I quit my job and I started working on my own things, right? I started going into different things, and this phase was very fun, but it was also very uh, stressful on me, right? It drained me from an financially, right? I was not making money. I was not. I lost all form of social life because I was purely focusing on building things and just playing with technology. But at the end, like this wasn't sustainable, right? So I had to kind of stop this phase and move on into something that is more sustainable. But I was really passionate about AI and about this technology that I found. So the next best thing for me to do was to build a community and get people to talk about AI and spread this AI awareness. And that's what I did in Lebanon. I founded Beirut AI, um, a community where I wanted to share more news about AI and get people to talk about it and specifically about applied AI and how everyone is using this technology, how they're applying it. And this was back in 2017, which is back then AI wasn't as cool as it is today, right? Most people didn't really care or know about AI. So I really started, pushing this idea, and we had a lot of success in the meetups we used to do and the events we organized. And for the next couple of years, it really grew a lot. The community, we have a lot of interest. We organized competitions, hackathons, meetups, discussion panels, everything you name it. And then I realized that there's a big value in having this community because while I was, giving back and maybe sharing my knowledge, I was also learning a lot because one, you are learning by connecting to other people and seeing what they have been doing with AI and learning about their lessons learned and their mistakes and their approach to solving problems with AI. But also, for example, we used to organize workshops where we delivered, let's say, like a certain solution. We help people bring their laptops and start to code. And for me personally, like I had sometimes to learn things to be able to deliver a certain workshop. So it really pushed me to learn more about the field from a technical perspective, but also from a business perspective and how to apply it in business. So I really see a lot of value in communities. And in fact, my current company, ZAKA, it was formed from the community, right? I met my co-founder during my time at Beirut AI, and then we decided to take this mission of spreading AI awareness and knowledge, and don't just do it as a volunteer, a community-led effort, but actually make it our full-time effort. And that's how ZAKA was born. And we always say that ZAKA has the community at heart, because I really believe that we're not just sharing knowledge and giving courses on AI. We're actually building a community in the region on AI. And having a community means you have support, means you have people who you can connect with, means if you are looking for a mentor, for a co-founder, for an advisor, for a client, who knows? It's where things happen. So yeah, that's how I see communities, and I always believe that you should give back before you take, and hopefully you're able to do that in our community work.
Because when I see if a community is a business or if it's an organization, it's quite hard to measure how successful it is or what type of success it look like. What are some proudest moments about the communities you have built? Maybe you can share with us what makes a great community, in your opinion.
First of all, there's a big challenge from going, like building a community and then building a profitable company, based on a community. And this is, it was very hard for us, and we're still actually figuring things out as we go, because you have to decide, like, when do I prioritize, impact and growth, but also when do I prioritize revenue and because at the end of the day, you have to sustain yourself and you have to scale. So from us, from day one, we've been really focused on impact more than on actually generating revenue. We've been sustainable, we've been profitable, we are bootstrapped, and we haven't raised any funds, but it's not easy, right? So when you start doing something out of passion, eventually you'll find that the impact you have, is worth more than just the revenue. And I say this because when you ask me about the proudest moments that we found, like for me personally, and I'm sure everyone at the team also agrees with me, we've helped a lot of people get started in their AI journey. And like I don't know these people, but I meet them often, sometimes randomly, and they say, that I actually started working in the field because I took a boot camp with you guys, or because you attended my university. Sometimes you gave a lecture at a university where I was attending, and you actually made me get excited about AI or fall in love with the field. Like you have no idea how many times I find these people, and every time it really kind of makes my heart warm, because it feels like I'm not just doing have a business where I'm making money. I'm also making impact. I'm actually changing people's lives, and I'm helping them. Not me personally. Again, there's a whole team behind ZAKA, and they do most of the work. I'm just saying that the mission behind it, it's so rewarding when you see the impact actually impacting real people's lives. And most people doing software, you end up writing some code, pushing that code somewhere, and then someone on the other side of the planet may be using the platform, but you can't really see this direct connection and direct impact. And sometimes you get lost behind the screens. But when you actually again touch people and then see their success stories, like we have plenty of people who graduated as, let's say, mechanical engineers or agricultural engineers or whatever, and they're really good, but somehow they cannot find a job, because right now there's a shortage of jobs maybe in those disciplines. But then they go through a certain bootcamp you have, they learn coding, they learn AI, and then suddenly they're AI engineers working on exciting projects and doing exciting things. Like, you see the impact. So we have a lot of these, and I believe this is the proudest moment that I can say about the communities that we have built.
The stories you share definitely remind me of the saying that there are so many types of motivation to learn, why people learn, but learn to share seem to be very well embodied in your whole professional life. How have you been manifesting these values throughout?
This is very, very interesting as a question. I'm gonna tell you a small story actually. I've never really thought about it, but it happened to me once. Back in the early days of Beirut AI, we used to organize these 3-hour workshops where you pay $10 just to cover the cost of the pizza and the venue, and then you come, you bring your laptop. We used to code a certain AI model, have some pizza, connect, literally just do that. And for me, I was like, this is exactly what I need to do. Like, give back to the community, have some fun, make everyone learn. But I had a lot of people reach out and say, why are you charging only $10 for this? Like, why are you giving your knowledge away for almost for free, right? Like, for them, it was so weird that this is happening. Uh, and I'm like, why not? Like, what's the point of keeping this knowledge to myself? It's not like if I gave you that knowledge, then I've lost, right? It doesn't. We can both gain without anyone having to lose. And this is exactly what information sharing is all about. You don't lose when you give that info out, right? Uh, There are very, very rare cases where if you share some info, you actually lose. Very rare cases, but almost every case, don't keep any info to yourself because that's not the point. Like people also fall in this trap when they have like a startup idea and they feel like I don't want to share this idea with anyone because they're afraid that anyone will actually take the idea and implement it. Again, it's the opposite of that. So ideas are in a way cheap, right? Information is out there. Information wants to be shared, right? You cannot stop information from being shared. But if you are the person who is sharing that information, then first of all, you're learning a lot, you're benefiting a lot, and then you're providing value. So uh, there's a lot of value in teaching. There's a lot of value in mentoring. There's a lot of value in giving back. Um, and this is what I like to do, right? And this is why, uh, my community work at ZAKA and even me personally, I always like to give back whenever I can because I also owe it to some people. Like along the route, along my journey, I've had people who randomly share a piece of advice that was very helpful for me, right? So why not I do the same and provide some value for someone else? So yeah, this is kind of, I guess I answered your question about information sharing.
Yeah, that's the spirit of educator. Spirit of educator. What do you want to achieve in the next era of AI?
Um, First of all, I'm sure everyone now knows the importance of AI and why they should learn about AI. But that was not the case 5 years ago or 8 years ago when we started. So initially, I was like, I wanted everyone to actually understand AI, not be afraid of it, because most people see AI in the movies, on the news, um, and they see sometimes a wrong representation of AI. So my goal would be to just have everyone, first of all, again, understand this very powerful technology that is really affecting everyone's lives, that is a part of everyone. Don't be afraid of it. Don't uh, uh, follow the news without understanding, because the news sometimes can misrepresent exactly what it is, the technology and how it works. And second, I want everyone to actually leverage this, right? To know how to use it to their advantage. Because I'm sure you've heard this a lot of places, but AI is not here to take over humans. AI is not here to actually replace humans. AI is a tool that we need to know how to use. And first of all, we have to not be afraid of it. Second, we have to actually use it to advance, right? To push ourselves. If used properly, AI can make everyone, 10 times better, maybe. They can make us more efficient. It can make us more productive, can make us smarter in a way. So it's really about knowing how to deal with the technology. And I believe if we are empowered by AI, think of the things we can do, right? As individuals, as a society, as humanity in general. Like there's a lot of levels to it. Um, but my goal would be to help people unlock their potential, right? Using AI.
Yeah, speaking of AI, definitely it's a miracle that I'm here because coming from a non-tech background, graduate with a linguistic degrees, and then what am I doing here all talking about AI? I think I'm so curious, maybe from your perspective, because you are very developed in your tech career. How can a tech talent coming from non-tech background equip themselves to keep pace with the AI transformation?
So Nowadays, this is on point actually, because if you asked me this question maybe 4 years ago, I would have told you it's a bit difficult, right? Because AI was kind of mostly a technical field, a technical topic, and it's really something that only recently with the Gen AI revolution, let's say, that it's actually opened up to anyone, right? And nowadays, I see more interest from non-technical people into AI than technical people, because it's allowing literally anyone to become a coder, to become, as you said, a Gen AI powered entrepreneur, which is I really like when I saw this in your profile, Grace. So nowadays, again, AI. I mean, we say AI. AI is a big field. It contains different topics and different subjects. But when we talk about generative AI and these AI tools that are out there nowadays, literally anyone with zero knowledge of how it works and technical knowledge and coding knowledge, literally anyone is capable of using these tools and is capable of pushing the boundaries of what they can do, right? You don't need to understand what large language models are and how they work to use ChatGPT and Gemini and Claude, right? And once you just know how to prompt them, how to speak to them in natural language, in English, in Arabic, in whatever language you use, just ask them to do something and they will do that for you. Of course, they're not perfect yet. Of course, the output is not 100% accurate, but it helps you, with the first step, it helps you get there. So, in my opinion, non-technical people now have huge benefit over technical people, because not every company needs an AI engineer to build their own LLM or AI model to train on data and whatever. But every company needs someone who knows, first of all, the company itself, who knows the domain, who knows the industry. Let's say you're in finance, or you're in HR, or you're in marketing, or you're in business, whatever it is you're working on, you understand the problems of your industry. You understand the challenges that you're facing. Now, take that and couple it with some Gen AI solution, and now you're actually innovating in your industry, right? Now you're leveraging AI to help you solve a problem that you are facing. And only you can know this, because you have this knowledge of we call it a domain expert, right? You have the knowledge of this field. Whereas a technical person who knows how to code, sure, they can write the code to build something or to train an AI model, but they lack the understanding of the actual problem. And what most people the problem most people fall into would be to build a technology, to build a solution where there's no problem, right? Yeah, I built a very cool technology, but it doesn't solve any real problem, so it's not going to be useful. Sorry. Whereas if you start with a problem, you start with, I'm actually want to solve this problem, and then you build for it, then you're more set to succeed. So that's why, again, I would go back and say, specifically non-technical people have now an advantage to actually jump on this and leverage their own knowledge with some AI tool and just innovate.
Yes, we have received a lot of Q&As from our audience. We will give time to have more interaction with you. But just one last question, Chris, I want to ask you. We started our fire chat with a question from general science, with reference to your time as the Scout member leader. I wanted to end the fire chat with feedback about iceberg. Someone said, Chris, you are an iceberg full of positive energy, talent, and motivation. What do you hope people will see more of this iceberg to close our fire chat?
This is interesting. Yeah, I always refer to, not refer, but I say that I'm like an iceberg, because usually if you meet me in a normal setting, not in a webinar where I'm being introduced as Chris, AI expert or whatever, usually you don't see me speak a lot or talk a lot. I'm not someone who likes to kind of uh, uh, be the center of attention, or be uh, speaking a lot, right? So I'm usually more quiet, and I don't really share a lot. So what people end up saying is like 5% or 10% of what I am. And I know that there's a lot of people who are like that as well. And then once you start to know them and to work with them, you discover the remaining 90%, and then you're fully amazed by what they do and who they are. So yeah, I would say, like, sometimes Like don't be fooled by the looks, especially on social media. A lot of people, like, social media is all fake, and you tend to see the best of everything. The 5%, right? The tip of the iceberg is shown on social media, but you don't know, what's behind it. Uh, a lot of people maybe fake things. A lot of people fake their happiness, fake their success, and it's important to actually understand, or know that sometimes it's different, right? That 90% is different. Um, so yeah, I don't know really how to answer this question. I know that uh, sometimes you have to spend time to know people more, and then you get to understand them better. So yeah.
Yes, thank you so much, Christophe, for these fireside chats. I think definitely a miracle time that both introvert here gaining the attention from the world to talk about the journey we have been through is what an experience. Thank you so much for the Middle East Deep Tech invitation for us to have the chance to get to know you. We have a lot of questions open to everyone to engage with you, engage with us to talk about the topic. Just to remind everyone, the topic we have today is AI in education, the rise of conscientious leaders for the future of tech. We have received the first question, maybe directing to you, Christophe. So, as an entrepreneur, Melody wants to know more about maybe just a business setup arrangement from because your community is is in education. So perhaps you can share a bit more about the process when you register your company or any highlights you want to share with the audience.
Yeah. Thank you, Melody, for your question. So first of all, my company, we're currently registering in Dubai. My company is registered in the US, so we are a US entity, and I'm currently in the process of registering in Dubai. Is it under education? So in the US, there are no categories or activities that you can add. It's different than in Dubai. In Dubai, we are opening a company that's under one of the activities is AI consultancy and AI development. So it's not under education, but we are opening a separate entity for the education because it requires different activities and different certifications. How big is the company? We are currently 16 full-timers in the company, so 16 members in the team. We are a fully remote company, so the people are spread basically all over. We all work remotely. How long did it take me to build the community and then generate revenue? So again, we've been generating revenue from day one. That's the idea of bootstrapping, and that's why the growth sometimes can be slower when you're bootstrapping, but it's more of a steady growth, I would say. So I've been working on community stuff since 2017, right? So I built like a big community in Lebanon, Beirut AI, before I even founded ZAKA. And then ZAKA took this mission and scaled it into the region. So we work more outside of Lebanon as well. So again, we've been generating revenue from day one, literally. Like when we first launched, we organized a bootcamp in Lebanon, and then a bootcamp in Amman in Jordan, and then a bootcamp in Riyadh. And like we had no money, right? So we the money we got from the bootcamp made us sustain ourselves to kind of push forward. And it's a bit different, but eventually you start growing uh, things kind of you have momentum and you start scaling from there. The Zaka virtual coffee looks interesting idea. How does it work? And is there a time limit for having coffee? Yeah, so the idea, this is more of a fun idea. It's not actually like a business revenue concept, but the idea was that, you know, normally in a normal case, you sometimes ask someone, hey, are you up for coffee? Let me buy you some coffee. And then you take them out to a place, you sit with them, you buy them coffee, and then you ask them some questions or you get their advice on something, right? So because we work remotely and we do everything online. So I'm like, again, it's not about creating income, but it's just a fun idea of. I get asked this a lot from people and also the company, like, I need advice on something, I need help with something. So you're like, why don't we make it more of a like a donation based something where sure, you want my advice on something, you want 10 minutes of my time, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. There's no time limit, by the way, but the idea is, okay, sure, buy me coffee, right? So we just put this virtual coffee concept on the website, and very few people actually see it and actually use it, to be honest. And it doesn't matter because it's not about like you can only talk to me if if you buy me coffee. It's not. But if someone says, thank you so much for your time, it's been helpful, how can I get back? How can I help or whatever? Sure, buy me coffee. Like this $20 or $10 is not gonna make or break it, but it's a way for people to feel like, I did something. At least I bought you coffee, for example. Uh, Again, it's an experiment that we did. I would say it didn't really succeed as an experiment, but it's still something fun, and I'd like to keep it on the website. So hopefully I answered your question, Melody.
Mm. We get another question, several more questions. One from Vinit. Thank you for your sharing, Christophe. I would like to know more about the AI consulting work your company intends to start. How do you think companies can leverage AI? Where do you think and how low-hanging fruits lies?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. So first of all, I think it all lies with the data, right? I think any company has data, and any company has processes that can be optimized or can be either automated or optimized with AI. So I would encourage anyone to actually look at their processes, look at the things that they do, and see what can I fully automate or partially automate or at least optimize with AI. And there's a lot of tools nowadays, like ChatGPT is one example. Honestly, it helps me with a lot of tasks, but also if you've heard of make.com or N8N or these automation tools where you connect multiple platforms, so you can have, I don't know, it, again, depends on the business, but from speaking with different companies, I've noticed that a lot of them just need a basic automation to be implemented, right? A basic workflow that says, when I get this email, add it to this sheet, and then send me a reminder here, and then, I don't know, summarize it with ChatGPT, stuff like that. So I would say, look at tools that can help you and start trying out and testing these tools. This would be the low-hanging fruit. And then from there onwards, you will have a better understanding of what does AI mean in the context of your company. And then you can think about more advanced use cases or more advanced usage of AI. Hopefully, I answered Vinit your question.
We received several more very interesting questions. One follow-up question from Melody. She's been using ChatGPT, but she really doesn't know how much doesn't know much about AI. What type of boot camp can she join so she can start learning about it and maybe teach it also to the kids?
When ChatGPT was first released, like for me, it was something that we kind of knew that was happening because you've been following um, the release of GPT-1, GPT-2, GPT-3. So it wasn't like a big surprise that we have an AI model that can create text. But anyway, we started using it and it was amazing. Everyone fell in love with the tool. And then I remember after a few months, we launched our first master class. It was called ChatGPT Mastery. And the idea was to train people to use ChatGPT. And when the team came up to me with the idea, I was like, who would want us to teach them to use ChatGPT? Like it's a tool that everyone should know how to use. But then we started delivering the training and doing it so many, like it became the most successful, famous, popular training that we did. We gave it so many times, and each time we give the training, you'd be surprised of how people are using ChatGPT. So everyone says yes, we are using it, but everyone turns out to be using like 5% of ChatGPT in terms of features and using it without understanding how it actually works. And that's why you fall into the problems of hallucinations, the problems of it's not accurate, it's not giving me exactly what I want. There's a lot of similar issues. So back to your question, Melody, I think like there's plenty of courses that can teach you about prompt engineering, about how LLMs work from a non-technical perspective, because you have to understand how they generate content or text. Also at ZAKA, we do have, again, the ChatGPT Masterclass. I would encourage you to go to our website, check it out, and check out our academy. We do have some free courses on the platform that you can look into. And then moving to your kids, we also have a couple of courses on the platform for kids. So if you go to academy.zaka.ai, you should be able to find some courses that are like introductory for kids. And we have a Seeds program, which is an AI curriculum for schools that we are currently pushing and working with schools to implement in GAE and in the region as well. And this is a full curriculum on AI. So it covers AI from grade 4 to grade 12. It covers also educators. We teach educators about AI, how they can leverage AI, and then we help them understand, uh, how they can use AI in their work. So yeah, so this should be enough. And if you have more questions, Melody, about this, feel free to reach out.
Yeah.
I guess
We got a
Grace.
very interesting question.
Yeah,
Yes?
sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. I was gonna switch to the second question because it also relates to what Melody asked in terms of AI for teachers and students.
Yeah. From Naila.
Yeah,
What's the biggest
exactly.
opportunity for AI offered to teachers? So that is
Exactly.
the content you share. Okay. And the last question we have is from Dania. How can AI help reduce inequality in education, especially in regions with limited access to resources?
Yeah, so again, I think we have a lot of educators with us today, based on the questions, I'm assuming. So I'm gonna answer both questions actually at the same time. AI has a lot of opportunities in different industries and especially in education, because like if you're an educator, you know how much time you spend on administrative tasks that are wasting your time and taking away from actually spending time with the kids and doing the actual teaching. And this is one way that AI can help, right? If you're an educator and you spend time creating content, spend time designing your curriculum or creating content or changing the content to adapt to different students' needs, then that's something that can be done with AI's help. You cannot offload it completely to AI, but you can definitely leverage AI tools to actually get you started, and then you can find more time to do more things. So there's a big opportunity for students and for teachers as well. For the students side, again, AI can do your homework on your behalf, fine. Or you can use it to research things. You can use it to understand. You can use it to ask it specific questions that you did not ask during class. So use it as a learning partner, not don't use it as a cheating partner, right? Like do this on my behalf. Instead, let me understand this with you, right? Um, I say this because we have done a lot of work on building our Seeds curriculum. And what we offer, by the way, is not just a curriculum, it's also an online tool platform called Seeds Hub. And if you go to seeds.school, our website, the platform is freely available for anyone to use. So if you're a teacher who would like to understand how AI can help you in your job, go to seeds.school, sign up for free on the platform. You'll have an account. You can go and use the tool. We have a lot of tools that are, help you create the curriculum, create the lesson plan, create images, quizzes, generate assignments, feedback, all of the admin work. There are tools that can help you for that. Um, and yeah, I would encourage everyone. So to go back to Daniel's question about inequality, uh, basically, if you now have one teacher that has a class of 20 or 30 students, maybe not every student is going to ask a question. Maybe they are shy, maybe they are ashamed of asking too many questions. So you end up having, not everyone getting the same level of focus, maybe. Wherever when you have an AI supporting the teacher, you can imagine as if every student has their own teacher sitting next to them, has their own tutor. They can ask them any questions. They can follow up exactly on that student. Every student learn a different way, and every student, have a different pace of learning. So, of course, one teacher cannot keep up with 30 different ways of learning and 30 different paces. Eventually, they have to kind of move forward. So you end up having like one solution that fits everyone. Whereas AI can help you customize the learning journey for every student, right? It's like you're having one teacher per student. Imagine that. I think this approach will make every average student above average, right? It's gonna make every student who technically now is failing, they're gonna be uh, maybe not the best, but they're gonna be at least above average. So this is how I think AI is helping reduce inequality in education. because it's making everything accessible, from information to support to knowledge sharing to everything. So hopefully I answered your questions, Daria.
Yes. I think we are good with the Q&A. I will pass the stage to Sarah. Thank you so much, Christophe, for engaging with us today on the Fireside Chat.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Christophe, and thank you, Grace, for such an insightful conversation. And to everyone who joined us today, we truly appreciate your time and participation. So this has been Deep Tech Talks, our weekly series powered by Deep Tech MEA Initiative and Global Innovation and Entrepreneurship Company, where we explore the technologies and ideas shaping the future. So we invite you to join us again next Thursday at 6 p.m. UAE time for another Deep Tech Talk session. Until then, I'm Sarah Aliwet, and thank you once again. We look forward to seeing you to our next discussion, and have a great evening.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.